turn to page number 66. We'll finish the poem within 10 minutes. Then I'll discuss some questions and answers from my childhood, Dr. Childhood Kala. And if there's still time left, we'll have a revision. I will speak about the question paper test series 2. Grammar. We will discuss some. I will discuss the question paper pattern. Not important questions. What are you supposed to study? Those questions. Whatever you are supposed to study. Yeah? Yes, David? You don't have? You don't have grammar? Sit down. You don't have grammar. If you just listen to what I'm saying, that's good. Huh? What? Behind. Saraswati grammar is not with you. What? Why? Right. Now all of you turn to page number 67. 66, I'm sorry. Look at this stanza. Therefore she netted another and still a smaller one, but it looked when she turned it over as large as the first had done. I read once again. Therefore she needed another, and still a smaller one, but it looked when she turned it over as large as the first had done. Therefore she needed another. What do you mean by this? She began to make a second cake. Why did she begin to make a second cake? Because what happened to the first one?
Very big.
It was a bit bigger according to her knowledge. So she said, I'm not going to give this to Saint Peter. I'm going to make a second one which is going to be a smaller one. But it looked when she turned it over as large as the first had done. So she baked it. Okay, the bottom got baked. So she had to flip it over so that the other side might also be baked. But when she turned it, when she flipped it over, she saw, my God, this cake is just the same as the first one which I had just baked. So this is also big. This is also big, and I cannot give this to Saint Peter. He should get a smaller one, much smaller than this. Next. Then she took a tiny scrap of dough and rolled it flat and baked it thin as a wafer, but she couldn't part with that. Again. Then she took a tiny scrap of dough and rolled it flat and baked it thin as a wafer, but she couldn't part with that. Again, she wanted to make a smaller one. Took a little bit of dough, put it on the pastry board. You know what is a pastry board? You know what is a chalkboard? You don't know. What is a chalkboard? Table. Chalkboard is a table. Who knows what a chalkboard is? Ah, that exactly is the meaning. So, in the kitchen, you have a small kind of board which is made of wood or sometimes plastic. So you place the vegetables on that, be it tomato, onion, whatever it may be. That is a chalkboard. Pastry board is different. It's not just the same as a chalkboard. For rolling the dough, you have to have a pastry board. It's a bigger one. Because you need to roll the dough into different sizes. So, every baker will have a pastry board. And what do you call this? What do you call that? Belna. In Hindi it is belna. What is the English for that? These are some of the words that you have to know because we use use these things daily. That is Hindi. I want the English one. It's not chapati roller. It is known as the rolling pin. What do you call that? Rolling pin. So, the pastry board and the rolling pin. She rolled. What did she do? And rolled it flat and baked it thin as a wafer. But she couldn't part with that. Got ready? She's going to kind of make the third cake. But again, she was not satisfied because she felt that this too was big. Could not part with that. Underline that word. Could not part with that. Part with that. What is the meaning of part with that? It means did not want to give it away. Write down. Did not want to give it away. क्या कर रहे हैं? सला कैसे वो? हाँ? कैसे वो? Behind? And you're not writing. Have you taken down those words? गधा कल से क्लास के अंदर नहीं आओगे ना लाए क्या समझ रहे क्लास 8 में हो अभी गाय बैल है गाय भैंस घर में जाकर मतलब चरवा कर that's better for you sit up there's a pencil there's a copy book open the copy book start writing those words and part with that what is the meaning not want to give it away so selfishness green. Now the next one. For she said, my cakes that seem too small when I eat of them myself are yet too large to give away. See the selfishness of this lady. Yes. So she put them on the shelf. Look at that again. For she said, my cakes that seem too small when I eat of them myself. What does she say? She says, all these cakes, when I eat them, they are very small for me. When I eat these cakes, they are very small for me. But when I give it to others, they appear big to me. So the attitude. Did you understand the mentality of this lady? When she's going to eat those cakes herself, they are very small. But when she wants to give at least one of those cakes, they appear to be too big to give it away. Understood? मैं जब इसको खाऊंगी तो मेरे लिए ये छोटा है और इस केक को दूसरे को देने का मतलब जब मन करता है मन तो नहीं करता है देने का जब सोचती हो तो बड़ा दिखता है. This is known as selfishness. For you it is small, but for others it is big. Write it down. Write this down. The lady felt that. It's a very important line. The lady felt that the cakes were too small for her. The cakes were too small for her, but they appeared to be big. They appeared to be big when they appeared to be big when she thought of giving them to others. Yes. She thought of giving them to others. Yeah. Anything else? Any doubt? What? Giving, and she thought of giving them to others. Right. Coming to the next stanza. So she put them on the shelf. The last line, 1, 2, 3, 4th stanza, the last line. So she put them on the shelf. Didn't want to give even this piece of cake. What did she do? Took it, bake it, and after that, put it on the shelf for her to eat. And then good Saint Peter grew angry. Saint Peter now understood what is going on. Came to know. He studied the mind of this lady, her actions. He grew angry, for he was hungry and faint. He was about to faint. He was about to faint. And surely such a woman was enough to provoke a saint. Underline the word provoke. What is the meaning of provoke? Make someone angry. Don't provoke me.
Given.
Given is given.
Yes.
Okay, make someone angry, right? To provoke a saint, this lady, this old lady made Saint Peter angry because she didn't want to give him even the smallest of the cakes. She didn't want to give him even the smallest of the cakes. And he said, now comes the second part of the poem. The second part of the poem, change. And he said, you are far too selfish to dwell in a human form. You are far too selfish to live in a human form. You cannot live in a human form because you are selfish. You are so selfish that people cannot call you as a human being. You are so selfish that you cannot just remain a human being. You are so selfish that no qualities of human beings are in you. You are a useless creature. So, you are not meant to remain in the human form. I am going to give you another form. I am going to change you. And what is that? What is the change? To have both food and shelter and fire to keep you warm. So you are so selfish that you will not have food from now on. You will have food, but you will have to struggle and struggle and struggle, work harder and harder and harder to get your food. And you will find yourself cold and shivering. You won't get fire. Curse. When a saint curses, the curse is too hard to bear. When a saint curses you, the curse becomes too severe that you cannot bear it. That's why we are not supposed to make any saints angry. Don't make a saint angry. Ever. Because if you fall a victim to his anger, you are finished. Now, you see. Now you shall build as the birds do. Now you build your own nest on treetops, and shall get your scanty food. Underline the word scanty. I have written the meaning here. Less in quantity. Less in quantity. Now you shall build as the birds do, and shall get your scanty food. You will get your food, but very little. Because you didn't want to give food to others, now you will struggle for your own food, and the food that you will get, or that the food that you are going to get is not going to be sufficient for you. जो खाना तुम्हें मिलेगा वो पर्याप्त मात्रा में नहीं मिलेगी, कम मिलेगी. तुम्हारी भोजन को तुम्हें जुटना पड़ेगा, और बहुत कष्ट करके तुम अपने भोजन को जुगाड़ करोगे. You'll have to struggle, you'll have to sweat, you'll have to toil. And what is the work that you are going to do? by being a woodpecker, you will keep on boring the trees. Boring and boring. It is given here. By boring all day in the hard, dry wood. The word boring is repeated thrice. Why? The poet wants to emphasize the fact that the woman has to work harder and harder. Punishment. Boring. Underline. A severe punishment given to the woman. A severe punishment given to the woman. Right? A small note. The words are repeated. The words are repeated to show the nature of punishment. The words are repeated to show the nature of punishment. Okay? Boring all day in the hard, dry wood. Then the stanza follows. Another one. Then up she went through the chimney, never speaking a word, and out of the top flew a woodpecker, for she was changed to a bird. Again. Then up she went through the chimney, never speaking a word, and out of the top flew a woodpecker, for she was changed to a bird. Look at the sentences. Look at the words, lines. Then up she went through the chimney. Look at this. Look at the picture. You will understand. Chimney. So through the chimney the smoke comes out. And here the woodpecker came out. The old woman was changed into a woodpecker, and out came a woodpecker from the chimney. Okay? So St. Peter cursed immediately, become a bird. And the moment he pronounced the word bird, a woodpecker shot through the chimney. Okay? And you see, for she was changed to a bird. Who was that she? The old lady. The last but one stanza. These two stanzas are very, very important. Very important. Look at them. She had a scarlet cap on her head. Scarlet cap. What is a scarlet cap? Like this. Huh? Scarlet means reddish brown. Scarlet means? Reddish brown. So she had a reddish brown cap. What is the cap? This is the cap, the plumes, you know. Cap. And that was left the same. She had a scarlet cap on her head, and that was left the same. It remained as dark brown, reddish brown. That color remained the same for the woodpeckers. You look at any woodpecker, you'll have a plume. You'll see a plume, okay? And the plume would be of scarlet, reddish brown. But all the rest of her clothes were burned black as a coal in the flame. As black as coal. The rest of the body remained as black as coal, except for the plume, which was scarlet in color. कोयले की तरह हो गई. ऐसे हो गई? कोयले की तरह. Punishment. And every country schoolboy has seen her in the wood, where she lives in the trees till this very day, boring for food. So any schoolboy who walks through the forests of the Nordic countries, Sweden, Norway and Finland, anybody who walks through the forest can see the woodpecker boring for her food. That is a punishment, where she lives in the trees till this very day. So woodpeckers, they have the trees as their home. Keep on boring to make a hole. And once the hole is made, they go and dwell there, and they lay eggs, and small baby woodpeckers come out. Okay? So with that the poem comes to an end. Not a true poem, an imaginary one, but definitely it has a very good lesson for all of us. Yes or no?
Yes.
What is the lesson that you learned? Stand up and tell me through this poem. Tell me. In one sentence. What is the lesson? Now you have to talk. I will stop. What is the lesson that you learned? To work hard. Is the poem about working hard? Huh? Do not be selfish. That is the message. Siddharth, that is the message. Working hard is a different thing. It's a good quality, but that is not the point here. That is not the theme here. What is the theme? Hello? What is the theme? You don't know, you are not present. Yesterday? You were present yesterday? Ah. If you are absent, you will lose many things. You tell me. We should? We should feed 100 people. That is not the point. We have to share what we have. You tell me. What do you have? You were not present. Very good. You were present? No, you were not present. You were present. No. You tell me. What is the message that you learned? We should not be angry with other people. Is that the kind of what you call message that we get from this poem?
Do not provoke them.
You sit down. We have already answered. I want somebody else to answer. You stand up. What is the message? Do not provoke the saints. You were absent yesterday? Do not provoke the saints. Any other point? Oh, that's a good point. Valid point. Do not provoke the saints. Who provoked the saint in this point? You sit down. You sit down. Old woman. How did she provoke it? Not giving the cake. Very good. Not giving the cake. Andrew, stand up. Why did she not want to give the cake? She was very selfish. Sit down. She said that. Where is Northland? Northland. Sorry? Not present yesterday. You go home and revise the poem. Watch the internet or take other reference books and find out. Okay. You were present? Yeah, this fellow. What is the quality that you learned from this poem? What is the lesson? What lesson do you learn? Huh? Don't be crazy upon anything. What do you mean by that? Don't be crazy upon anything. That is not the point. Who can tell me? What was the punishment given by St. Peter to the lady? And is this you should be able to answer? What was the punishment? Was the lady punished? Okay, you tell me in Hindi. You can't respond in English. Tell me. Boring, boring, and boring. Who was boring and what? Lady was boring. What was she boring? The lady was boring. You tell me. The old woman turned into a woodpecker. Very good. Speak something. You did wrong. old woman turned into woodpecker or woodpecker? Woodpecker. Why was she turned into a woodpecker? Because of the selfishness. What was the selfishness? What was the selfishness? Come this side, man. What was the selfishness? Who was selfish? Old lady. How can you say that she was selfish? How can you say that she was selfish? You tell me.
When the same Peter came for food,
Okay.
asking for giving one cake, small cake.
Very good. He asked for a small cake, and then what happened?
The lady gone and made the cake, but he thought it is too much big.
Okay, she thought it was bigger. So,
Then he gave it to her sisters.
okay, not shelter. She put it on the shelf. Okay, then
Then after he again made
she made another one. Did she give it to St. Peter? Did she give that? No. Then what happened? No.
then after he got very small, he saw
She made a smaller cake for the third time. What happened to that cake?
then after the Peter video
Okay, you are selfish to give even a small piece of cake. Then the punishment? The punishment? What was the punishment? Nature punishment. What is that? What was the punishment? Nature punishment. What was the punishment given to her? खाली दौड़ते रहते हो एक कोने से शहर का एक कोने से दूसरे कोने तक साइकिल पे कहाँ जाते हैं पढ़ने जाते हैं एक बार पढ़ाई है 3 दिन से मतलब सुन रहे हैं What was the punishment given to her? Is that at least he is able to follow something. What was the punishment? उसका क्या दंड दिया गया है क्या सजा मिला उसका हिंदी Keep standing till you give me the answer. What was the punishment?
Punishment was that they returned into the food paper and
She turned into a.
become hard and she got the less quantity of food.
She got less quantity of food. Did you understand? Now you tell me. You sit down.
So getting into less quantity of food.
She got less quantity of food, but before that, what did the lady become? What did she turn into? She turned into a lion, tiger, elephant. And what did she turn into? She turned into St. Peter. What did she turn into? What did she turn into? Sit down. Spell the word woodpecker. Spelling.
WOODPECKER.
P.
PECKER.
That's right. Sit down. Woodpecker. Very good. Now back to that lesson. My childhood. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. We'll discuss some questions. Page number. Who knows?
25.
Yes. Turn to page number 75. 75. Where was Abdul Kalam's house? Where was Abdul Kalam's house? And where is Rameshwara? In which state? Tamil Nadu. Everybody, are you listening to me?
Yes, sir.
If these questions appear in the examination, you'll have to write.
Yes, sir.
Number 2. What do you think Dinamani is the name of? Give a reason for your answer. What is Dinamani?
Newspaper.
Very good. How do you know that it is a newspaper? There is a hint in the lesson. Where do you get the answer for that question? All of you turn to that word. Look up that word in the lesson, Dinamani. Where is that word coming? On which page? Page number? Who knows? Turn to the lesson. 69. 69. Where is the lesson? Where is the word?
Ninth line.
About the war, which I would later attempt to trace in the headlines in Dinamani. Headlines in Dinamani. Where do you find a headline? That's it. So the word headlines gives us, the word headlines gives us the meaning of Dinamani. It tells us that Dinamani is a newspaper. Because you find headlines only on
Newspapers.
Very good. So that is the answer for that. Question number 3. Who were Abdul Kalam's school friends? What did they later become? I discussed the names of all. Who are the friends of Dr. Kalam? Who are the friends? सब आते होते नहीं है, तो simply they come to school and waste their time. Who are the friends? One is Arvindan. Number 2, Shiva Prakasha. Number 3, Ramanand Shastri. Number 4, only 3. Shiva Prakasha. What happened to him? He became a Ramanand Shastri, high priest of the Rameshwaram temple. And the other one? Arvindan. What did Arvindan become? He became a transport manager. Next one. How did Abdul Kalam earn his first wages? How did he earn? He helped his cousin Samsuddin. Name, remember the name. Who was Samsuddin and why is he important? If a question comes like that, this is the answer. Samsuddin was a cousin of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, and he was distributing the Tamil daily Dinamani. He was distributing. So he asked Kalam to help him distribute the newspaper. Kalam did that, and by doing that, he earned some money. Those were the first wages. Those were the first wages. So how did he earn his first wages? By selling newspapers. Had he earned any money before that in what way? Yes. By selling the tamarind seeds. जो पहला दिन से क्लास में आया उसको समझ में आएगा मैं जो पढ़ा जो नहीं आया है बस. Kalam went and picked up tamarind seeds. Okay, why did he pick up the tamarind seeds? Because there was a great demand for the tamarind seeds. Okay, and he collected the seeds and sold them in a आदमी ऐसा मारेंगे ना एकदम गर्मी पैदा हो जाएगा. चला. He sold them in the shop, for which he got money. What did he get? Money for what? Money for what? Say louder, man. Money for shop. तुम खुद ही गधा हो और मुझे भी गधा बना दो. पढ़ाते पढ़ाते मैं गधा बन जाऊंगा. सुना? Idiot. What did he do with the seeds? He went and sold them in a shop and he got some money. How much money did he get? How much money?
1
So if a question is asked, you must be able to say.
1 hour, sir.
1 and a half, of course. 1 and a half.